Now, got pretty chilly up here in Chaco. I don't know whether this wind's going to mess us up or whether my lighting is good or not, but we just got to hope for the best. Look, in one of my books, I wrote a chapter entitled Pain Ain't Funny. And it begins, some people laugh at other people's pain, or at least, if not at the pain itself, at the conditions caused by the pain. Now, I know that a statement like that might conjure up thoughts about cruel, inhumane people, but I'm not talking about that kind of people. I'm talking about people you know, people you shake hands with, or pray with, or hug. You probably even laugh at some folks' pain yourself. Now, you may doubt that, but I'd bet that it's so. For example, if you're watching somebody down here in Mississippi where icy sidewalks are rare, watch him take a long step on ice, start a little dance to keep his balance and slip and plant his posterior on the ice, then you probably would have to grin while he rubs the affected part and looks around to see if anybody was watching. You see what I mean? Nothing vicious, just a funny situation. Well, here's a little story illustrating just another such example. Now, years ago, I used to host a little dove shoot here at Chaco on the afternoon of the opening day of dove season. The little field up on top of a hill on the back side of my place we could only safely accommodate 6 shooting stands, so that was the number of people I invited for each shoot. The regular group I invited was comprised of Greaser, Sprout, Hokey Pokey, Bear, and Robert. I don't believe Bones, who is Greaser's twin brother, was on this particular hunt, but may have been, but I don't think he was. Robert was the only one without a nickname. Now, they call me several things, but that's not important to go into here. Now, this particular year, I invited the usual group. All informed me that they'd be here. And Greaser was the last one I called to invite, and I told him that the stands were full and that we couldn't handle anybody else. Don't ask anybody else to go with you. And he said he'd be there. Now, Greaser was, as an aside here, he was a public relations manager for governmental affairs or some such title like that for the Mississippi Power and Light Company. Okay, everything was set for the hunt. And I noticed that there appeared to be lots of doves flying and the weather was perfect and all indications pointed to a great time. Well, the morning of the hunt, I got a call from Greaser. He said in a sort of an apologetic tone, actually, I got a problem. I asked him what it was, and he said, Brad called me a few minutes ago and asked me if I was going to hunt today, and I told him that I was. He asked where I was going to hunt. I told him I was going up to your place. He said, well, I don't have a place to hunt today, so I'll just go with you. Well, he said, I didn't tell him he couldn't go. Well, now, Brad and Greaser and Bones and I had all been up at Ole Miss together, and we've been friends for years. And I said, well, all right, Greaser, bring him on, and we'll work it out some way. You owe me one now, though. He said, okay. And by the way, Brad happened to be the lieutenant governor of the great state of Mississippi. And Greaser was in public relations for Mississippi Power and Light. And Well, you get the drift. Well, everybody started showing up at my house early in the afternoon, and Greaser came up last, and with a sort of a hang-dog look, emptied his car of Brad and Brad's two sons, Hamp and Ford. Now, I didn't know about them until I picked him up, Greaser told me. He looked so pitiful I couldn't say anything. But Brad took one look and he saw what the situation on the stands were at the field. And Ford was too young to have his own gun, so he stayed with Brad, his dad. And Brad sent Hamp, who was about 13 or 14 years old, had his own gun, as most boys that age had down here. And he sent him off to a little draw away from the dove field, but had enough birds flying over the little draw to be able to get some shooting. And I placed Brad and Ford on one of the best stands, which was under a big oak tree directly across the little field from me. I wanted to see how good he was with a shotgun, and it didn't take long. He put the first 8 doves that flew within his gun range on the ground. 8 shots, 8 doves. I quit counting then. The man could shoot. Well, then for some reason he moved to the other side of the tree and plunked his stool down over there, plunked it down pretty hard. Plunked it down directly over a little hole in the ground that was the entrance to a fair-sized yellow jacket nest. I heard him holler, saw Ford scoot out from the tree area, and observed Brad performing what I can describe only as a frenzied, long arms and legs performing an impressive war dance. Now, for those of you who've never been the object of attention by a swarm of yellow jackets, let me inform you that you have been fortunate. Bees sting, wasps sting, yellow jackets hurt, and where they hurt stays hurt for a week or so. And I thought he was just celebrating his shooting skills and acting like an idiot at first, and I was laughing at his antics. Then he started running toward me across the field, and I caught a glimpse of the little cloud surrounding him, and I lost no time removing myself from his intended location, wherever it might be. Now, yellow jackets seemed to agitate each other when they were disturbed, and they actually chase the disturbance caused. Well, after Brad had run far enough that the jackets had given up the chase, I did inform him that I was impressed with his agility and had never actually seen a lieutenant governor dance that enthusiastically and jump that high before. I will not divulge to you his response to me. But other than that one little incident, it did turn out to be a successful hunt. Most everybody got their limit of doves, and the camaraderie was warm, and much of the conversation centered around Brad's athletic exhibition with mirth. And to show you what a good man he is, he was laughing as hard as the rest of us. So, moral, I guess, of this is just keep a sense of humor and realize that pain ain't funny. It's people that's funny, especially lieutenant governors in a swarm of yellow jackets. God bless them. I'm Jim Ritchie. I'll see you again next time.